Okay, so we're recording. I want to welcome everyone to the pre-proposal conference for RFP 2401-001, and that's for Data Governance Platform. Again, I'm Belina Bunch, the Procurement Director for Central Health. If you are just joining us, please put your sign up for us in the chat. There are instructions in the chat as to what we're asking for, and if you have questions, if you would go ahead on and put those in the chat for us, that would be great. I want to take care of a few housekeeping items before we let our subject matter experts explain to you what it is that we're looking for. If you've already viewed the solicitation document, if you would mute your microphones for me, that would be great. If you've already looked at the solicitation document, our schedule of events are as follows. Question submittal time and date is on January 26th by 5 p.m. You can submit those questions via email, or you can submit them on BidSync, and BidSync will send them to us. You have until January 26th to ask questions at 5 p.m. We will respond to you by the following Friday on February 2nd by 5 p.m. After that, after January 26th, we will not be accepting any questions. So please get your questions in so that we can answer them, because we want you guys to prepare the best proposals possible. Proposal submission date is going to be on February 9th by 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, let's talk about proposal submissions. You take a few minutes to go over this. The submissions have to be done via BidSync, or you can hand deliver them or have them delivered to our Cesar Chavez office. This information is also detailed on the solicitation document, on the RFP document. Those are the only two ways that we will accept proposals. I want to caution everyone to please don't wait until 1:59 to upload your proposal to BidSync. BidSync takes a little bit. One good thing is that we cannot see, no one can see anybody's proposal until 2:01 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you have a proposal ready after this pre-proposal conference, you can upload it. We won't see it. Please, please, please don't wait until the last minute. I can't tell you how many times after every solicitation, I get emails, I get phone calls. My subject matter experts get emails and phone calls of people who say, I couldn't submit my proposal, or I was in the middle of submitting my proposal and it cut me off. Again, do it with enough time so that if you have questions, if something technical happens, you can call BidSync and get it done. Don't wait until the last minute, because emails and phone calls will not be accepted, and you will not be able to submit after 2:00 p.m. on Central Standard Time. Moving on, we are asking that pricing be firm for 90 days. And that helps us, that gives us time for, sometimes we have to reschedule things. Stuff happens, or stuff comes up and we have to reschedule things. It gives us time for contracting. So 90 days is the standard that we ask when you submit your proposals, that you give us 90 days, have your pricing firm for 90 days. Also, on page 5 of the solicitation document, you will find all of the required forms, a list of required forms that need to be submitted. All of these forms are attached to the solicitation document as exhibits. If it is required, please submit it, because if you don't, you may be deemed non-responsible or non-responsive. Again, we don't want you guys to take the time to get a proposal together and you don't submit your required forms, and then we say non-responsible or non-responsive, and you can't, we don't accept your proposal. So please pay attention to page 5 so that you can make sure that you have the required forms submitted with your proposal. The required forms do not count against the page limit. The page limit for the solicitation is 40 pages, 20 pages front and back. And that is 12-point font, New Times Roman. We find that a lot of, or quite a few, not a lot, quite a few vendors like to give us a whole lot of, I don't want to say fluff, but propaganda. We just need the meat and bones. Our evaluation team needs to be able to look at the evaluation criteria, Look at your answers to the evaluation criteria, because that's what you're going to be scored on. All of the extra, they may not even get it. So don't waste a lot of paper, I should say, on, giving us, we understand that everybody's great. I'm not saying that you're not, but what I'm saying is, the page limit is 40. If you go over the page limit, again, you will be deemed non-responsible and non-responsive. So we want everybody's proposals. Looks like we have this is great participation. So we're expecting some nice proposals to come through. Are there any questions on the housekeeping items before I turn it over to Andrew? All right, then Andrew Finch, I am going to turn it over to Andrew so that he can go over the meat and guts of the solicitation, what it is that we're looking for, and we will help you give us a great proposal. Andrew.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Finch. I'm the Director of Data Engineering and Integration Services for the Central Health Enterprise. I'm also co-chair of our data governance program for the enterprise. Currently, we're seeking a platform that will help us with our data governance documentation, such as data catalogs, data lineage, all the different kind of documentation that needs to exist in a governance platform for data purposes. And in addition to that, we're also looking for a governance platform that can document all of our governance policies and actually, enforce those policies and help make those policies real for the enterprise and easy for our enterprise users to follow. And just make sure that everyone's easily able to do the right thing. In addition to policies, we're also looking for a governance platform that kind of manages the workflow behind our governance program. And with that being, access to data, requesting access to data, being able to document data that we're sharing to third parties or partners, and being able to manage or automate the requests behind all of that. So for example, we have a third party that requests access to a certain data set. We get that request. The governance platform is capable of automating that request. So the access is given, and the access is later terminated at a specified date. I mean, there's a lot more details I suppose I could get into, but I think we have a pretty robust RFP solicitation already put together and what our requirements are. So I would think it'd be best for everyone to review that and read what our requirements are and ask questions from there.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, we're gonna move on to questions and answers. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. We're gonna start with the chat with questions and answers, and hopefully be able to get to them all. And just to let you know, if we do not get to all questions by 11 o'clock, which is the cutoff for this, we will have them answered and they will be posted on BidSync. All right. First question I see is, are you looking for assistance choosing a data governance platform, or you looking for a bid on technology itself?
I would say that we are looking for a bid on the technology itself, but also a partnership to enable that technology in our environment.
Okay, thanks. Next question is, will alternate bids from the same prime be allowed? Yes, you can submit as many bids as you want. And will you provide a copy of questions and responses from this conference? Yes, these questions and answers will be posted on BidSync and on the ESBD. Is there any incumbent for this opportunity?
No,
I don't think so, right, Andrew? This is brand new.
No, we do not. Yeah, we don't currently have a data governance platform.
Am I missing any questions? Those are the only questions that I see in the chat. Anybody else have questions, that concerns, any clarifications that are needed? Now is the time. No questions? That means Andrew did a great job. You mentioned the
Belina.
platform. Yes.
Belina, will this recording be made available to the attendees?
Yes, sir. This recording will be downloaded and posted on both BidSync and the ESBD.
Thank you.
All right. Does Central Health have a limitation or requirements on supporting teams to be U.S. citizens?
I think that may be a question that we need to take back and answer later.
Okay. You mentioned the platform needs to enforce data governance and data access. Do you expect the platform to enforce data security?
Yes.
The next question is, what is the hub goal? We actually don't have a hub goal for IT projects. We do have a good faith effort for everything that we purchase. And so this will be a part of the good faith effort. Those dollars and the percentages are reported to our board of managers, but there's no actual goal. What is the scope of the initial setup phase? How many systems need to be integrated into the data catalog?
I would say that the initial setup phase will be primarily focused on our enterprise data warehouse, which currently involves Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, and then we also have an integration platform called Boomi. We also have another active project underway to migrate our data warehouse to a cloud environment that is Snowflake. So we have quite a few systems that we would like to integrate with this. But it would be primarily focused on the data warehouse to start, and then probably expand from there to other areas of the enterprise and other data assets.
Okay. What is the allocated budget for this project? We don't disclose the budget that we have. We really want you guys to give us what it's going to what it's going to take. We've experienced in the past that when we have disclosed the budget, everybody tries to come in under the budget, and then when we get a contract signed, then we have to do amendments because, oh, we didn't do enough, or we didn't realize it was this, or we just gave you a budget for that. And so we want you to look at the scope of work, what it is that we're requiring, and we want you to propose what your company is going to charge us for it. Pricing is one of the evaluation criteria, but we do not disclose what the budget is. Is all the work required to be completed on site? If not all roles, which are preferred on site versus off site?
I think offsite is fine as long as most of the work I think primarily be completed by Central Health staff, or at least that's our goal, is to be able to, take the system and self-manage. But any assistance that we do need, I believe could be managed through offsite work.
Okay. The next question is, can you go over the evaluation criteria in the RFP? Mr. Vega, I have a question. When you say go over the evaluation, can you further explain? Because the evaluation criteria is listed in the RFP. So what is it that you're looking for?
Yes, ma'am. Is the definitions of the criteria. I understand that there are weights given for each of these criteria, but how the criteria is interpreted is, would benefit from understanding how you define those terms.
Okay, So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. I actually have the evaluation criteria pulled up. I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see that. If there is something specific that you want to have explained, could you tell me what that is so that I don't want Andrew to have to go over all 6 of these. And we have other questions that have to be answered, but I want to answer
Can
your
you go to the
question.
weights? There is a table with the weights.
The table with the weights, yes, is here. Yes. And then the explanation for each of these is right underneath it. And that's in the solicitation document.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next is, let me get back to it. What about the existing data set in terms of types and the technology stack that is supposed to be migrated to the newly chosen platform?
Currently, I would say most of our data warehouse is, relational data. And our goal is to consolidate from Microsoft's SQL Server and Postgres to Snowflake. And in the process, also remove any duplication that exists today and consolidate our data to be more streamlined.
Okay. What is the current platform for data warehouse? You mentioned Microsoft SQL and this, I don't know how to say this other word, SQL, database engines. Do you plan to migrate to Snowflake after this project? Protege, post-Protege.
I would answer that there'll be efforts happening concurrently on this.
Okay. How would you define success after the initial setup?
I think that's a pretty broad question to answer. We may have to take that one back and provide a more formal answer or response to that.
Okay. Will the data governance project have integration with the MPI project?
Yes.
Is it possible to submit? Okay, go, Andrew, sorry.
No, we can move forward, I guess. That's fine.
Okay. Is it possible to submit a proposal for just the data governance framework and roadmap and data and technology SME, not provide actual hosting platform?
No, we're looking for a system that is hosted by our vendor of choice.
Okay. Is there a requirement to tokenize, encrypt data at rest?
Yes, we would like to have data encrypted at rest. Part
But
of
is
our
it a
intent,
requirement, Andrew? Is it listed on our requirements form?
I would have to, let's take it back and answer that afterwards. I don't have
Right.
that pulled up at the moment, but our goal is to have metadata about our data in the system though, and not actually store actual data in our data governance platform, if that makes sense. So
Okay. Cynthia?
I just pulled up the requirements, and yes, data must be encrypted in transit and at rest, must have AE S256 encryption at minimum. So that is in the requirements.
That's great.
You beat me
Thank
to
you.
it. I was actually going to say that.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. How many users are expected to have access to the platform?
I would say there's probably multiple levels of user engagement on this. I would expect between probably 15 to 25 users that need to be power users in the system, be able to update the data that's in it. And then also, our enterprise users may eventually use this as a way to find things that they're looking for. but may not need that extra access to be able to actually manage the system.
Does that answer your question also? How many users for the solution? Yes, thank you. How many administrators? How many data architects or advanced data engineers for data modeling?
I would say 10 to 15.
Does that answer, the 10 to 15 is for administrators and data architects?
And data engineers, yes.
All right. Do you expect the platform to provide data classification and data tagging capabilities?
Yes.
What is your current ETL2 to move data across applications / databases?
We are currently using Boomi, and we're also evaluating other software options that work well with Snowflake. Just as examples, Coalesce or DBT.
And those are, you're evaluating them. We're not actually using
We
them
don't.
yet.
Yeah, we're not using them yet. We're evaluating them.
Mhm. Okay. I think I see another question. User count outside power users, viewers for self-service and discovery for the enterprise outside of the technical team. Do you want a number, Mr. Paul? Yeah, user count. Okay, sorry. Do you have an approximate number, Andrew?
I don't know that I could give you that number today. We'll have to go back and gather that and respond.
Okay. Well,
But
Central Health be,
but yes,
go.
it's quite a bit more than the power users.
Okay. Will Central Health be open to a proposal for the software platform services? Hold on. That requests a separate purchase for licenses, software vendor, and services systems integrator. Will Central Health be open to a proposal for the software platform / services that request a separate purchase for licenses and services?
I would prefer to have all of our solution met in this one proposal.
Do you expect the platform to integrate with your identity provider? If yes, what is the identity provider that you're using?
Yes, we do expect that, and I don't know that we can share that vendor yet.
I was about to say, I think that's there's a solicitation going for that as well. And so it is still an open solicitation and nothing can be shared. Do you use any data access control software such as Emuta, Prevacera, etc.? Prevacera?
Not to my knowledge.
So we have 4 minutes left. You can enter questions up to that time. If you have questions that are still lingering after 11 o'clock, I am going to release my team and we will leave the chat open for another 5 minutes. We will take those questions and we will make sure that the team gets them and you'll get your answers back. Otherwise, if you have questions following this meeting, you guys can send them to the purchasing email address that's listed in the chat. You can also ask them via BitSync, and then BitSync sends the questions to us for answers. Thank you guys very, very much for being a part of this pre-proposal conference. The questions have been great. Again, we will provide questions and answers on both BitSync and the ESBD. We will provide a copy of this pre-proposal conference on both platforms. If you did not sign into the chat yet, please do so with your name, email address, your company, and if you're a prime or a subcontractor, that helps us with our, it serves two purposes. It helps us with our login, our sign-in up to how many people attended, as well as We will post the list on BidSync and the ESBD with hopes to marry subs and primes so that you guys can make some connections. When will the responses from today's Q&A be posted? We hope to have, so the questions and answers that have been answered right now, we hope to have those posted within the next 24 hours. Those answers that we could not answer on today will be answered by the deadline, which is February 2nd? February 2nd. They will be answered by all questions, whether here or submitted via email or BidSync, will be answered by February 2nd. Can the same sub be submitted on multiple proposals? Absolutely. Absolutely. If it's a different prime and they want to use you guys, yeah. All right, so for the final 2 minutes, I'm going to do my spiel one more time. If you didn't sign into the chat, please do so. If you have questions that you still want to ask, we'll leave the chat open for another 5 minutes after the 11 o'clock cutoff. And you can ask here, or if you come up with questions afterwards, you can send them to the email that's posted in the chat, or you can upload them to submit them via BidSync and we'll get them. Thank you guys so much for being a part of our pre-proposal conference. Thanks to the Central Health team. Andrew, thank you so much for everything you've contributed. Cynthia, John, everybody, thanks. We appreciate you guys. And thanks to the purchasing team for your assistance as well. You guys have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Lynn.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.